We get the black community organized, the battle's over. The reinforcements that the pro-life movement has been needing for 25 years are on the horizon, and we're starting to make a stir with them, and they're starting to come up to the top of the hill and saying, I think we need to charge. And that's what's happening, and we're seeing this all over the country. No better place than our good buddy, Clenard Childress, Reverend Clenard Childress in New Jersey, who took several hundred Maafa21s, plus about 10,000 of our Lynching is for Amateurs brochures, to the NAACP convention. And he's joining us today. Hello, Clenard.
Hello. How are you?
Just fine, sir. How are you?
Doing pretty good.
Well, listen, you caused everyone here to have a pretty good laugh when you called in after the NAACP convention and was about 6 feet off the ground and we couldn't get you to come down. It's like you were filled with helium or something. You had some real experiences and some real victories up there. Tell us about some of them.
Well, absolutely. It was probably I felt the most productive thing that I've ever done. And so each day we were rejoicing, the teams, and praying, and it just seemed everything providentially had come together to make this an impact with people who are in authority, people who are in authority in the NAACP, and even the reluctant ones as we approached them, because there were other protesters out there. We had to be very careful about letting people know who we were.
Right.
But the Ginsburg comment literally just, what's the best word for it?
Just lit a fire.
They took steps back. They got heated. They were basically totally discombobulated by it. They didn't know how to respond to that. And I said to myself, well, it's great that I'm here with this comment, because she had just came out in the New York Times. And what I had shared with Carol earlier is that when I read her comment and then went to the back of Maafa, they were stolen from their homes, locked in chains, and taken across the ocean. And for more than 200 years, their blood and sweat would help to build the richest and most powerful nation the world has ever known. But when slavery ended, their welcome was over. America's wealthy elite had decided it was time for them to disappear, and they were not particular about how it was done. Let me tell you something. They were so engrossed at that point. So many delegates at that point, their whole demeanor changed. Being in ministry as long as I've been in, you know when the light bulb goes on in a person. Right. And it was just awesome to see them take this and thank me, thank us, which they originally stepped to us were very, at first, somewhat standoffish or basically want to be courteous and keep going, but yet they were thanking us for stopping them. And so we were totally validated, vindicated by the statement of Ginsburg. It was unquestionably, providentially released by the New York Times that Sunday, because it gave us a sense of credibility with the delegates, because they know I don't work for the New York Times, and neither am under the auspices of Miss Ginsburg, Justice Ginsburg. So they said, wow, this is really something that was unquestionably something that God was in, especially with the church folks.
Well, you were standing out on the street corner. I understand you gave about 400 of these to credentialed delegates of the NAACP convention, and you had one of the attorneys for the NAACP come back, and apparently, what was the situation with him?
We had a great exchange, and it was only a minute and a half, 2 minutes. She's very, very much a lawyer. She asked very poignant questions when I first made my presentation to her. But the next day, she was looking all over for me, because we were walking and circling the Hilton looking for delegates. Anyone that had a green badge on was target. And so I missed her, but she had to leave, but she was frantically, from what I understand, the other teams that ran into her searching for me, because she wanted to know, what can I do now to help? Wow. And they just pointed her to the website, and they said you can get in contact with him from there. But it was just, that was the type of response for anyone who watched it while they were there. There were people taking this and viewing this in their hotel rooms and then coming out the next day. And so we very we scrutinized who we gave it to. If they were too obstinate, we refused to give them the material. But if we felt the spark was there and that we just needed to kindle that a little more, it was just an awesome time. And I was very proud of my group. They just basically followed the pattern and really engaged the delegates. They were excited, and so
awesome,
it was just a great. I'm still kind of on cloud nine over it.
Right. Yeah, and you know, I know you had people coming up. One person from Morehouse College, is that right? Saying that they were going to start showing this at the school, which is one of the larger black universities in the country.
Morehouse, Medgar Evers. I mean, we had people from Hawaii, St. Thomas. I mean, the Morehouse brother didn't want to go, and he was supposed to be getting on his bus to go somewhere. He said, "Brother, I'm going to be in touch with you. I'm definitely going to look. I'm definitely going to show." And it was just from the Ginsburg and the back of Maafa's comment. Wow. That was staggering. That was knocking people over.
Wow.
And so at that point, they say, "Well, I have to see what's in this video. I have to know." I mean, here it is, a Chief Justice making this comment, and then you flip over Maafa and then read this to them. People were actually stunned.
See, that's why I say God planned to have her make that comment. It's better now than it would have been in the video.
Absolutely. Please, that is so true.
That is providential at that moment, and I know it represented a substantial financial investment for Life Dynamics to send 400 copies of this to Reverend Clenard at this moment, as well as all those other Lynching is for Amateurs brochures.
Well, he's got 500, but he gave out 400 there, and I assume you're going to give out the other 100 in the appropriate places there.
Listen, this vindicates my life. I mean, this causes me to be able to rest with assurance that those people, and you give it to pastors who will sit, leaders that will sit for 2 hours, and then encourage their people to say, "You got to see this," and then they'll have the discipline to listen. I showed it during my service. There's another pastor is showing it in his service coming this Sunday. So we're excited about the fact that with the proper endorsement from key people, people will view this. And you need to see the whole of Maafa because it unquestionably answers every question. Right. It basically answers any thoughts that would come as afterthoughts about the authenticity, the accuracy, the people in it. All throughout the 2 hours or so, it just answers every question you could possibly have.
Well, Clenard, we thank you for what you've done up there, and we need to all realize that we're all excited about what's going on here, but this is just a month into the deal. This thing is just getting started. I think this thing is just going to grow and grow and grow, and already we're seeing the viral marketing aspects of this thing are enormous, because we've done no promotion of it yet. None. And the response we've gotten is amazing. Thank you for being with us, Clenard.
Thank you, sir, for your sacrifice and offer of love that you have unquestionably produced something that is going to transform the African-American community. And I thank God for the seed that I now have to sow into the lives of so many leaders. God bless you.
Well, thank you for what you're doing. Thanks for the help.